Welcome to Los Vikingos TV. I'm going to do my immediate reaction to the Real Valladolid game. But before I get started with that, I'm going to talk about my aftermath and my afterthoughts about the Ajax game. So, this was one of the worst feelings that I've had in a while with this team about losing, the Ajax. I didn't think we were going to win the Champions League, but, you know, I thought we could at least made it to the semifinals, especially with some decent draws. But that Ajax team outplayed us. They were better than us, and they deserved to advance, unlike us. Uh, I wish them all the credit. I think they do actually have a chance of, making it pretty deep in this tournament, especially because they play in the Eredivisie, and they're not going to win the league because PSV has got a pretty good handle on that. But I thought losing was good for us. It shows that we need to make changes as a club. In my last video, I stated that Mbappe should be our number one priority. He said he's not leaving Paris, like 150%. He won't leave Paris. So that's already over. So the most important situation for the summer should be coaching, not the players. A lot of people want wholesale changes for the club, but if you look at our squad, especially on paper, any coach in the world would be like, oh, Marcelo, I'll take him. Oh, Tony Cruz, yeah, I'll have him. Bale, okay, I'll take him. Every single coach in the world is going to be like licking their chops, like, oh, these guys are for sale, probably for cheap because they're just trying to move them. Okay, let me come in and swoop that. So that's not really the best idea. Any coach in the world would love to come in and take the likes of midfield of Casemiro, Tony Cruz, Luka Modric with uh, Danny Ceballos and Mateo Kovacic behind him. That's a great team to come into to coach. So many names are being thrown around, including Mourinho, which I would not take on a long-term basis for obvious reasons, but on a short-term basis, I would definitely think about bringing him in. Just till the end of the season, he could bring stability to the club, give guys a chance who aren't playing much, such as Isco, Marcelo. Even though Marcelo got in today, you'd be like, well, why would Mourinho take this job? Mourinho is literally at an all-time low. All Gunnar Solskjaer has taken the exact same team that he had at Man U and turned them into PSG beating stars with everybody injured. Mourinho couldn't do that with a healthy squad. Why? There's a lot of reasons I won't get into. His CV is already good, but he could really use a boost. A recency bias boost. And if he took over Real Madrid in the short term, we don't play anybody tough. We got 11 games left, and I remember when we played the second half of our schedule at the beginning of the year, Lopetegui got the harder part and Solari got the easier part. And now that Solari's getting the harder part, he's struggling. Zidane's name has been thrown around, and I don't want this to happen. I don't want Zidane to take over. I'm thankful for everything he won at the club, especially those 3 Champions Leagues in a row, and we should really not be mad at this team for losing to Ajax. We should actually be giving them a round of applause. They deserve that. They've won everything. They've been world beating every team. It's just this team was insane, and the run has come to an end, and we should really appreciate that and not mock them for losing to Ajax. But why would Zidane want this job? He left literally like days after winning the Champions League final. So the only reason I could think that he would want this job is if the board's offering him complete control, which I thought Zidane already had pretty much complete control. Not like complete, but Zidane had like 85% control. I mean, he turned down Kepa. Who would turn down Kepa? Now we have Courtois, which Courtois is a good keeper, and I'll mention later. I wrote an article about that for Managing Madrid, but Courtois is a good keeper, but Kepa is maybe just as good. Maybe he could be better than Courtois one day. He's not better right now, but he could be. And I hope Zidane returns one day. I love Zizou. I love the way he played. I love the way he coached. I love the enthusiasm. I loved how he ripped his pants on 3 separate occasions from celebrating so hard when we scored. But this team kind of needs a slight rebuild, a new look on things, and there are a few guys I have in mind. One, Pochettino. He should be the number one choice no matter what. If you can negotiate with Daniel Levy and get him out of his contract, he is the guy. He recently said that he'd be happy to come coach in Spain again. He's literally flirting with Real Madrid. He wants the job. He's always wanted the job. He's just kind of had to prove himself, which he's done at Tottenham. They have not brought in anybody yet. They are still hanging with the likes of Liverpool and Man City in third place. Second guy, Klopp, way out of reach. Will not be in reach until he finishes his Liverpool contract. Klopp is the coach who always finishes his contracts. He is a man of his word, and he's going to take Liverpool. He will probably stay at Liverpool till he wins a trophy for them, whether it's the Champions League or the EPL. But he will win a trophy with them. My third choice is Allegri, who is out of favor at Juventus, and actually, Zidane's most likely going to take the Juventus job, or they're going to go back with Conte, which I doubt. They could go back with Conte if they don't get Zidane, but I think their number one choice is Zinedine Zidane. And, they want to win a Champions League. That is what they want. They're tired of winning Serie A. They're tired of losing in the final. So Allegri is probably out, especially now that they're about to get bounced by Atletico Madrid. We will see that tomorrow, but not really sure yet. I actually have off that day. I specifically took off to watch that game because I'm intrigued. I would love for Cristiano Ronaldo to get knocked out. No offense. If Zidane took that squad on, and let's say Marcelo got transferred there, 100% I'd be wanting Juventus to go to the final and win. And Zidane could do that. But with Allegri as coach, I don't know. Allegri could be good. He's a good tactician, which I think is something Real Madrid could really use. He's a little bit more defensive, but with coming to Real Madrid, I'm sure he could change his stripes and, become a little more offensive and kind of help out. A few throw-ins I would like to see. Ancelotti, why was he ever fired? He's doing a great job at Napoli. He could win the Europa League this year. Put money on that if you want, because he could easily do it. He loves winning trophies. He's got, I think him and Zidane are tied for the most Champions League trophies won with 3. Ancelotti might have 4, but I think he only has 3. Great coach, loves to rotate the squad, which is something Real Madrid need immensely. And he was loved by the players when he was here, and he should have never been fired. And he is a guy who is usually a caretaker, as you would say, like how Jupp Heynckes was for Bayern. So he could take care of this club until Klopp or Pochettino becomes available. And I'm sure he would be fond of coming back to Real Madrid. He always talks fondly of his time here, and I think he'd be a good fit for the squad. My second throw-in is Lucien Favre, the Dortmund coach. He's been great this year. They're probably not going to win the league. They've already been knocked out of the German Cup. I don't even know how you pronounce it. And they've been bounced from Champions League officially as of last week, like Real Madrid. And he's done a great job. They're probably going to lose the league. They might be able to focus on it if Bayern can get deeper and get past Liverpool, which I hope and pray they do, because James Rodriguez, I want to see the best for him. I want to see the best for his squad because he plays for them. So I would love to see Dortmund. I'd love to see Bayern get deeper, and that would also allow my favorite German team, Dortmund, to hopefully advance. So now I will talk about the game, though. Sorry about my rant, but I felt like that needed to get off my chest. It was a boring game, probably one of the most boring games I've watched all year. Madrid were very lucky to come out of there with a win, in my opinion. The first half was disgraceful. 2 goals disallowed for being offsides. Both went to VAR. PK was sent way over the bar. I'm talking Sergio Ramos against Bayern 2012 way over the bar. And then they actually added one, which was a beautiful cross from the right to the back post, pass to the other back post, because now they switched the play to the one side, and easy tap in. We were lucky to go into halftime 1-1, especially because the goal that Real Madrid scored was weird. It was a weird lineup, kind of like a Diego Simeone type lineup, as Ray Hudson said. He went with 4 central midfielders all across the floor. It was pretty much a 4-4-2. Ceballos on the left, Modric on the right, Cruz and Casemiro on a double pivot. And it did not work out that well for Real Madrid. It was an ugly game. The front 2 were terrible, in my opinion, Benzema and Asensio. And Benzema didn't really get comfortable until he had actually scored the PK, which Odriozola won. And Odriozola I thought was great today. I thought the back line was good today. But like I said, Odriozola and Reguilon were the 2 best players on the team, in my opinion. And Reguilon gets my man of the match again. This guy's been unbelievable. Continues to produce. And, if you're going to have someone take over Marcelo's spot, with the way this kid's playing, I can't be mad about it. Like, if Real Madrid did sell Marcelo to Juventus, I hope not, but, they might. Because, Marcelo's unhappy, and maybe the next coach is like, this Reguilon kid can play. At least we know that it's in good hands with Hakimi playing well, not as well as he was, but well at Dortmund. Teo Hernandez, who was a big buy from Atletico, hasn't really lived up to his standards, but he's been okay. And Reguilon, who has been amazing this year, best Real Madrid player this year, along with Vinicius. It was odd, like I said, the goal was odd. It's it's really bad when our best chances are coming from our center backs. It's really bad that that's happening. That's not supposed to happen. Veron gets a tap in to make it 1-1, and and then Benzema gets the PK that he scores, and then he gets that third goal, which was from a corner, and then Modric gets the fourth goal and just the easy tap in. Not a tap in, but he just curled it right around the keeper. So Casemiro gets his first red card on career in European football. Insane, especially because he should have probably been sent off with the Bayern game when Vidal got sent off. Uh, and that was the big complaint about that game was why did Vidal get sent off and not Casemiro? Understandable, but it was nice to see Marcelo get some minutes. With Reguilon limping off. Unfortunately, he looked uncomfortable, and that's probably the reason why Marcelo got some minutes. But I'm happy to see him get some minutes. He deserves it. He was a big part of this team. He's still a big part of this team. He's the second captain. And Fede Valverde, my boy, he was a solid performance. Nothing spectacular, but it wasn't bad. I'd like that this kid keeps getting minutes, and Solari keeps continuing to give this kid minutes. So I saw in the comments section people complaining about Isco not being on the bench and two Castilla players being on the bench instead of him. Well, there's a reason for that. Isco has a disciplinary meeting with the board probably definitely this upcoming week for not riding on the team bus in the game on Tuesday for the Champions League game on Tuesday. He took his own car from Valladolid, or however you pronounce it. I'm not very good at Spanish, which is where Real Madrid practice and meet before games. Did not take the team bus to the game. Was not in the locker room for the pre-game talk, and he has gotten in trouble with the Real Madrid board. Apparently, Solari did not want to get him in trouble, but he did report him, which is his job as the boss, to report him to the higher ups, and they are deciding to do this. Multiple players have had disciplinary meetings before in the past, including Robinho, and Angel Di Maria had one in 2014, which was the most recent one. And then another thing that went on Friday, there was a argument between Sergio Ramos and Marcelo in training. I just think this is a lot of overflowing emotions from the Ajax performance and loss, one that Sergio Ramos was not a part of, and one that Marcelo was not a part of because his form has been so bad. So what happened was they were playing. I think they were playing probably five-a-side. It was just small matches going on, and Marcelo's team beat Sergio Ramos' team. Marcelo celebrated like he normally does, according to him, and Sergio Ramos took very much offense to it, and they started arguing and with each other, and apparently people stepped in to break it up because they didn't want it to escalate. So the fact that people had to step in and break it up probably isn't a good thing. But and this isn't the first argument Sergio Ramos has gotten into this week. Sergio Ramos got into it with Florentino Perez after Perez came down and said that it was disgraceful that the team's performance from the Ajax game, completely understandable. It's pretty disgraceful. As a Real Madrid fan, I felt that way as well. So Florentino Perez felt that way, and he's the boss. He's the boss of the manager. So and Sergio Ramos and him, they minced words, and they weren't too fond of each other I think they didn't speak for like 2 days, and then on Thursday they squashed the beef, and on Friday was Florentino Perez's birthday, and he wished him happy birthday. So there's a lot going on at the club right now. It's just little things. People are upset about the way that everything's unfolded. I can't remember the last time that the season was over in March. I think we've made the last 9 Champions League semifinals in a row. So the season hasn't ended in March in a long time. Thank you guys for listening. If you like what you heard, don't be afraid to subscribe. I try to post videos twice a week. If you have any questions, you guys can just post them as comments, and I will try to answer them if you guys want. And I will post my Managing Madrid article that got published, which is about Thibaut Courtois and Keylor Navas, and if Solari is right to start Thibaut Courtois, and the description below. Thank you guys for listening, and Hala Madrid.